I know you're tired. Life's battles have drained your strength, and you feel like you can't go on. But don't lose hope. God is with you. His power is greater than your struggles, and His love will sustain you. Let these verses remind you that even in your weakest moments, He is carrying you. You are not alone. He is your refuge, your strength, and your victory. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Jesus calls you to rest in Him when you feel like you can't go on. His love is the refuge where you can find relief amid exhaustion. You don't have to carry your burdens alone. He is willing to help you. His peace surpasses all understanding and sustains you when your strength fails. Stop fighting in your own strength. Give Him your burdens. In His arms, you will find true rest. Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God who strengthens you. No matter how difficult the situation is, God is with you at every moment. His presence is a reminder that you are not alone in the battle. He strengthens you when you feel like your strength is fading. Don't let fear paralyze you or despair consume you. God is greater than any problem you face. Trust in His power because He will never abandon you. Psalms 55:22. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. You don't have to carry the weight of life alone. God is willing to sustain you. Sometimes we feel the burden is too heavy, but God invites us to give it to Him. When you trust in Him, His peace fills your heart and gives you the strength to move forward. Don't keep your anguish to yourself. Express it in prayer, for God listens. He will never let you fall beyond recovery. Rest in His love and let Him uphold your life. 2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. You don't need to be strong all the time because God shows His power in your weakness. When you feel like you can't go on, remember that His grace is enough. Don't rely on your own strength, but on His infinite power. God uses your moments of fragility to do His work in you. In your limitations, He is glorified and lifts you up with His love. Trust that in your weakness, He is made strong in you. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. No obstacle is too big, nor challenge impossible when Christ is your strength. He equips you to endure trials and move forward. Don't focus on your limitations, but on God's power in your life. Even when circumstances are difficult, His grace sustains you. He will give you the strength you need for each day. You are not alone. In Christ, you can overcome. Psalms 34:17. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. God is not indifferent to your pain. He hears each of your prayers. When you cry out in faith, He responds and works on your behalf. You may not see the answer immediately, but be assured that He is working. Don't keep your suffering in silence. Give it to God. He has the power to free you from distress and give you peace. His love is your refuge in every trial. Deuteronomy 31:8. The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. When you feel like you can't go on, remember that God goes before you, preparing the way. No matter how dark the path seems, He will not leave you alone. In your weakest moments, His presence is your strength. Don't let fear control your heart, because the Lord is your faithful guide. Trust in His love, for He never abandons His children. Hold on to His promise and move forward with courage. Psalms 46:1. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. God is your refuge when life's burdens seem unbearable. In the hardest trials, He is your unshakable strength. You don't have to face difficulties alone, for His love surrounds and sustains you. Even if everything around you collapses, God remains your safe shelter. He is never late. At the right moment, He will provide what you need. Trust in His power, for He is your constant help. Nahum 1:7. The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in Him. In days of distress, remember that God is good and never forsakes you. He knows your heart and understands your needs before you even ask. Even when everything seems against you, His faithfulness remains. Take refuge in His love, for He is your strength amid the storm. His goodness surrounds you, and in His presence you will find peace. Don't hesitate to trust Him, for He never fails. 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. Don't carry the weight of worry alone. God cares for you and wants you to give Him your burdens. He doesn't want you overwhelmed, but filled with His peace. When you feel like you can't go on, turn to Him with confidence. His love is enough to sustain you in every situation. In His hands, all anxiety disappears, and His peace fills your heart. Rest in the certainty that He watches over you. Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. Even in the hardest trials, God is working in your favor. What seems like a hardship today will be a testimony of His faithfulness tomorrow. Don't despair if you don't understand what's happening. God has a greater purpose. Every pain, every tear, and every struggle has meaning in His plan. Trust that He will turn your suffering into a blessing. In His hands, everything has a purpose for good. Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you. God calls you to be courageous because He is with you in every battle. Even when the path is difficult, His presence goes with you. Don't let fear paralyze you or doubt steal your faith. He gives you the strength to move forward when you feel like you can't go on. In His power, you are stronger than you think. Keep trusting, for God will never abandon you. Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. When your strength is gone, place your hope in the Lord. He will renew you, lifting you above your struggles like an eagle soaring in the sky. Even when life's burdens weigh you down, His power will sustain you. Keep running your race, for with Him you will not grow weary. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that He provides the endurance you need. Trust in Him, and He will give you new strength. 2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. When you feel weak, remember that God's grace is enough. You don't have to be strong on your own. His power shines brightest in your moments of struggle. Instead of despairing over your limitations, embrace them as an opportunity for Him to work through you. His grace carries you when you have nothing left to give. Lean on Him, and you will find strength beyond your own. His power is your refuge. Psalm 55:22. Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. You don't have to carry your burdens alone. God invites you to lay them at His feet. He promises to sustain you, giving you the strength to stand firm even in the storm. No matter how heavy your troubles feel, He will never let you fall. Surrender your worries to Him, and He will fill you with peace. His love is your foundation, unshaken and everlasting. Let Him carry what you cannot. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. In your deepest sorrow, God is near. He sees your tears and understands your pain. When your spirit feels crushed, He holds you in His loving arms. You are not forgotten or alone. His comfort is always within reach. Allow Him to heal your heart and restore your hope. His love is your refuge, even in the darkest moments. Trust in Him, and He will bring you through. John 16:33. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Jesus never promised an easy life, but He did promise victory. No matter what challenges you face, He has already overcome them. The troubles of this world cannot defeat you when your trust is in Him. Let His victory give you courage to keep moving forward. Though the storm may rage, His power remains greater. Take heart, for with Him you will always triumph. Lamentations 3:22-23. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. No matter how difficult today feels, God's love never runs out. His mercy is renewed every morning, offering you a fresh start. When you feel like you can't go on, remember that His faithfulness remains. He will sustain you through every trial and restore your strength each day. His compassion is endless, and His love will never fail you. Rest in His unchanging goodness and find hope in His promises. Hebrews 13:5. Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. When you feel abandoned and alone, remember that God has promised to never leave you. His presence surrounds you, even when you don't feel it. He remains faithful, standing beside you in every struggle. No matter how lost you feel, He is holding you close. Trust in His promise. He will never forsake you. In Him, you are never alone. Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. You don't have to fight every battle alone. God is fighting for you. When you feel exhausted and unable to continue, rest in His strength. He goes before you, clearing the path and defeating your enemies. Let go of fear and trust in His power. Be still, knowing that He is working on your behalf. Victory is found in surrendering to Him. 2 Timothy 1:7. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. Fear can paralyze you, but God has given you a spirit of strength. You are not powerless. His Spirit fills you with courage, love, and wisdom. Even when challenges seem overwhelming, you have everything you need in Him. Stand firm in the power He has given you. Let His love cast out all fear and walk in confidence. You are stronger than you think. Psalm 37, verse 5. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will do this. When you feel lost and uncertain, place your trust in God. Surrender your plans, your worries, and your struggles to Him. He knows the best path for your life and will guide you in the right direction. Trust that He is working even when you can't see it. Give your burdens to Him and watch how He moves in your life. His faithfulness never fails. John 14:27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. When your heart is overwhelmed, receive the peace that Jesus offers. His peace is not temporary, it is deep and unshakable. You don't have to live in fear or worry. Let His presence fill you with calm and assurance. Even in the midst of chaos, His peace will sustain you. Rest in His promise, and let His love drive out every fear. Psalm 121, 1 through 2. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. When you feel weak and helpless, lift your eyes to God. Your strength doesn't come from yourself, but from the One who created the universe. He sees your struggles and is ready to help you. Trust that He is your source of power and renewal. No problem is too big for Him to handle. Look to Him, and you will find the help you need. Zephaniah 3:17. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. You are never fighting alone. God is your mighty warrior. He is fighting for you, protecting you, and leading you to victory. He delights in you and rejoices over you with love. Even when you feel weak, His strength is carrying you. Let His presence fill you with courage. You are loved, cherished, and never forgotten. Proverbs 3:5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. When life doesn't make sense, trust in God's wisdom. Your understanding is limited, but His knowledge is perfect. He knows the best path for you and will guide you in the right direction. Let go of control and place your life in His hands. He will not lead you astray. Walk by faith, knowing that He is making a way for you. Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. You may feel exhausted, but don't stop doing what is right. The seeds you are planting today will bear fruit in due time. God is working, even when you can't see the results yet. Keep moving forward, knowing that your perseverance will be rewarded. His timing is perfect, and your harvest will come. Stay strong. Your blessings are on the way. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Even when life feels uncertain, God has a plan for you. His plans are not for harm, but for good. He has a future filled with hope and purpose, waiting for you. Trust in His promises, even when you can't see the way forward. He is leading you to something greater. Hold on to faith. Your story is still being written. Psalm 9:9. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. When life feels too heavy to bear, God is your safe place. He is your refuge when you feel overwhelmed. Run to Him, and He will shield you from the storms of life. His presence is your stronghold, your unshakable foundation. No trouble is too great for Him to handle. Rest in Him and let His peace cover you. Revelation 21:4. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. Your suffering is not forever. God promises an eternal future without pain or sorrow. Every tear you shed now will be wiped away by His love. Hold on to hope, for one day all suffering will be gone. His promise is sure, and His love endures forever. No matter how hard life gets, your future with Him is full of joy. Keep your eyes on eternity. No matter how heavy your burdens feel, remember this: God is holding you in His hands. He will not let you fall. Trust in His promises and take one more step forward. He is making a way for you. His love surrounds you. His strength empowers you. And His grace is enough. You are not alone, and you are deeply loved. Keep believing, because with Him you will rise again.